Yo, 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 welcome to Outta Pocket with RGIII, hosted by your boy and the lovely, amazing, beautiful, 37-time All-American, crazy great athlete, love of my life, Griffin. Today's show, we got a guy that is nicknamed Mighty Mouse, but trust me, he's way bigger than his stature makes him look out to be. Championship Grand Prix winner in the flyweight division. He is known as one of the pound-for-pound greatest fighters we have ever seen and holds the UFC record for most consecutive title defenses with 11. The one and only Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. We're here with the man, the myth, the legend, Demetrious Johnson, Mighty Mouse. You know, we bring people on this show, and the first question we always like to ask them is, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the first time in Louisiana, New Orleans with my wife. That's one thing we love to do is travel together. I can't complain. Body's healthy. Kids are good. No leaks in the roof. I'm a happy man.
Too many times people come on the show and they ask them immediately about their career or what they think about this. And it's like mental health is a huge deal to us. And we feel like just asking people how they are can open up and have conversations that, you know, maybe don't always appear.
No, I agree. Mental health is a huge thing. And I think a lot of athletes don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes us look weak, essentially. But for me, I was already a brick wall. Like my wife would say, it's like talking to a brick wall. And I'm like, well, you got to think what I do for a living. I was like, I got to look stoic as I might get hit. And I'm like, I won't. But then after I stopped fighting, I started taking acting classes. The teacher was like, hey, you got to get in touch with your emotions.
Okay.
And then once I got in touch with my emotions, I started to speak more, you know, tell her my feelings. And it was funny the other day, we were leaving, you know, I park outside. I'm a very humble man, I would say.
Yes.
But there are some things, it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. It makes sense why it happens. We had a house. We brought all the furniture up. And where I park my car, it has all the furniture. So I'm parking outside. And in Washington right now, it's like 20 degrees. So it's freezing. So I forget that I park outside. So when I go outside, I have to like the first time in, I would say, our marriage, right? I'm sitting there and we're going to the airport. It's like, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting here and then like we're gonna be late and I'm in a car and I'm not speaking. I'm just like, yeah, that sounds good. And then we get to the airport and I'm like, okay, now that I'm over it, I was like, there's no reason I should be parking outside. Not towards her,
right.
For me, my mental health is like the old me would harbor that shit. I'll be on the flight like this, like it's a great flight. But I told her, I was like, you know, now that we're past it, I was like, there's no reason why I should be parking outside. It's not towards you. It's not towards me. It's just.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. That's how I feel, but it's not towards her. Mental health is great, and it's in a great spot right now.
It's a great story because it's the little things that kind of bother us, and sometimes little things can turn into big things if we don't handle them right in that moment. So some people are like, oh, what's he talking about? It's like, nah, it's just you want to knock it out before it becomes something bigger and more catastrophic. So I respect the fact that you brought that up and told that story.
Yeah.
The way you talk about football, did you ever play?
Yeah.
What did you play when you played?
I played middle school and high school. I played running back, cornerback, and wide receiver. And then sometimes I'll play nose guard just for shits and giggles. Just like, oh, man, when you're
nose guard?
I mean, when you're, you know, in middle school, it's like you're fast.
Okay.
Get to that line real quick and get that motherfucker. So,
go get him, Mighty Mouse. Go get him.
Yeah, that's what I did. But I enjoyed football. I think the biggest thing for me, in middle school, I played. Once I got to high school, you know, you play JV as a freshman.
Right.
And then when it came to a sophomore, you know, I was on a varsity, and so I would practice. But then when it come to every Friday night, they're like, you got to sit on the bench. You got to wait till you're junior, senior. And I'm like, guys, I'm not about to, like, just sit here.
Yeah.
And then even when it came to practice, you know, I'll show up on time, ready to work. The older kids, juniors and seniors, they'll be smoking weed in the bathroom.
Oh.
They'll come out. They'll, oh, you guys are late. Let's run gassers. And then all fucking day. And I'm like, dude, why am I being punished for these guys who don't want to play? And I don't even get to play. So I was like, I'm out. I'm going to go run cross country. And that was the last time I played football.
And so at what point did you find wrestling? Because you started out as a wrestler.
When I was in 8th grade.
8th grade?
Okay.
8th grade, yeah. I was playing football. The wrestling coach was a football coach assistant. And he goes, man, you should come up for wrestling. And I was like, I'm not wearing that damn singlet. My balls hanging out.
You didn't want to Kurt Angle it?
I didn't want to Kurt Angle it. And then next thing you know, I was like, I'm small. I think at the time I was like 91 pounds. And I was like, you know, it's the only sport that I can fight somebody who's the same size as me. It's like one-on-one.
Okay.
I can train as hard as I want. Nobody's going to dictate the outcome on the mat besides me against this guy. And so I tried wrestling and then won every single match besides one, and then won districts. And then I was like, okay, I'm hooked on wrestling. That's when it took off from there.
I'm not going to lie. Phenomenal intro for you to get into wrestling. But I'm just envisioning in my mind right now, Demetrious Johnson. How tall are you? 5'3". 3. Okay, yeah, you said it. I didn't say it. He said it.
So that 5'3".
Okay.
Hey,
5'3", playing running back, and then transitioning and becoming Aaron Donald at defensive tackle. We got Darren Sproles on offense and Aaron Donald on defense. They couldn't see the greatness.
Yeah.
You said you were 91 pounds in 8th grade?
Yep.
I was 97 pounds in 8th grade.
Hey.
So
you're saying
there was a chance that you could have. Maybe you grow. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you know, one day I just wake up in bed, I just hold my feet, reach outside, and I'm like, something happened. Yes, it happened. That's what I'm hoping for. But, still got time. I'm only 38. I got hoping 30 years.
My man's feet are dangling. He's like, that was. We were just talking about Shaq and meeting Shaq and how he makes you feel like a small human being, but he makes everybody feel like a small human being.
When and how did you find MMA? And when did you realize, okay, this could be a thing?
Yeah, I think after high school, that's one of the things that's kind of not sad about wrestling, but there's not a real path to professionalism in wrestling where, football, basketball, track even, there's a path to hey, I was good in high school, I went to college, and then you get drafted into something.
Right.
So after high school and wrestling, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do track because there's no outlet to track. Right. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to chill. And then I was going to college. And in between going to college and coming home, I saw The Ultimate Fighter. At the very beginning of their seasons, they would have to actually, win a competition within the season in order to pick who they're going to fight.
Correct.
And I saw a Sugar Rashad Evans. He was hitting the bag. He was punching it up an incline hill. And I was like, I bet you I can do this. I'm going to go give it a try.
Okay.
So next you know, I went to the gym and I started punching the bag. And then a guy that I knew from the wrestling circuit in high school, he was like, you want to learn how to fight? And I started just training and taking classes, learn how to box, kickbox, do Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
Impressive.
I mean, it's impressive that that's how you found your way into it because, once you actually got in and started competing, you're the GOAT at your weight division. I'm a big UFC fan, big MMA fan, so they said, hey, do you want Demetrious Johnson on the show? I'm like, hell yeah. All right, so I'm a big fan of what you've been able to accomplish and know how difficult it is in having, friends in the industry in UFC and MMA. Jeff Neal.
Yep.
We were high school teammates.
Oh,
He was a defensive end on our football team.
Oh,
so, I've been following him a lot and really got more into the sport. But for you, there's a moment that fighters talk about, and they're like, the saying is, I didn't find fighting, fighting found me.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you?
I think I found fighting. Because for me, I always look at myself as a professional athlete. If I were to play football, I excelled in football for my size, right? When I ran track, I was the fastest kid in the school at 5'3", and my fastest mile was 4:38, right? And so when I went to cross country, I placed at state. Everything I did, I excelled in it. So I looked at myself as a professional athlete. Even after all my amazing run in the UFC, one of the coaches goes, "You ain't a fighter." I was like, "What you mean I ain't a fighter? I'm the best in the world, and I don't even train in the cage. What you talking about?" He goes, "You're not a fighter." And I was like, "Explain yourself." He goes, "You are a professional athlete." He goes, "This stuff that you can do athletically, you don't care to hurt somebody, and you're very intelligent. You can move and you see things, and I can tell you to do this, and you're able to make that adjustment in your brain and move." And he goes, "You're an athlete. That's what athletes do. Fighters, they just go, come on, let's fight. Let's go back and forth." And so for me, I found fighting, and I was able to excel in it because, once again, it was dictated on my hard work, my ethic, my discipline, making sure I did everything right. And even when you start fighting in mixed martial arts, it's not like you become a professional and your first paychecks, you made $250 to show up and you win $250 to win. Congratulations. I was like, I guess I can go buy a laptop at Best Buy now. I mean, that sounds great. And I worked throughout my whole entire career up until I fought Dominic Cruz. And even when I fought Dominic Cruz, that paycheck was $14,000 to show, $14,000 to win. And I lost that fight. And so it's and that's a world title fight, right? I'm at the Super Bowl, essentially. And I made $14,000. So that's why I feel like I found fighting instead of fighting found me, because it was an outlet for me to break up the monotony of life, the 9 to 5. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it. And eventually I kept on winning. And then the money got better, obviously. Right. 14 turned into 20, then 20 turned into 24, then 24 turned into 100K, then to 350, then it just got better and better after that.
And now you're clearly a legendary UFC fighter and first ever flyweight champion.
That's right.
What does that mean to you when you just sit back on a Sunday and be like, you know what, I did that?
I think he's pretty proud of it. He was like, that's right.
Yeah, there's it was funny. There was a guy in a division. It was a tournament. It was 4 of us. It was me, Joseph Benavides, Ian McCall, and Uritani. And he goes, I'm about to be the fucking George Washington of the flyweight division. Not me. I didn't say that. He said it, and I was like, well, you got to beat me first. Ooh. And then when I won, I was like, I'm the first like black flyweight fighter ever, like George Washington. But I'm Barack Obama. He's the first black president ever, right? And he was like, and after now we, shoot the shit. He goes, God damn it. Can't believe you beat me that day. He goes, I was supposed to be for me. They set this up for me. It feels good because my name is etched in history forever. And now I feel like I'm my most popular just because in my time when I was fighting from 2013 to 2025, 2013 to 2018, social media isn't what it was.
Correct.
Content creation isn't what it was.
Right.
But now that I've done amazing things in my career, like the flying armbar, the flying knee, and all my finishes, people are like, they're getting into the sport now, and they're like, oh man, who's this guy? And I was like, you want to see someone who's good? Nah, you need to check out this little motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And they look at me and they're like, where's he at now? No, he just retired. And they're like, I missed him. It's like you don't get to see the greats play. So I'm grateful for having an opportunity to be the first ever flyweight in the UFC.
Nah, so you talk about some of your finishes. Mm-hmm. What would you consider to be your greatest finish of all time? I have some ideas, but I want to hear from you. What do you think your greatest finish of all time is?
Man, I think, oh, God. For me, I would probably say the Adriano one. I need him in the face. Okay. I mean, the Ray Borg one's good too, but I think the Adriano because there's so much that's going on at a very, very fast pace. And then when you slow it down, going from, faking the leg, slipping right hand, and then following him, and then just a little subtle push, how people don't see, then the flying knee into the cage, and then just walking off. And then I'll never forget, because in fighting, like, it's very hard in my career. I never had any swag. I just never put any swag into my fighting style until that fight. And I don't blame my coach for that, but I kind of do. Because at that training game, he goes, dude, you can do like, you don't have to be so traditional. You could be, have a little swag about you. And I was like, but I'm going to get hit. He goes, just stay the back and do your swag. And then that fight, when I hit him with that knee and I walked up and I was like, whoo, I know his ass is done. I walked off and then I was walking around and then I said some in the camera and I dapped up my boys. Then I ran over and I said, hey man, good fight. We'll do it again. When you're healthy, you show some respect. Then I kind of did my, my Deadpool stuff. And then the ref came over to me. He goes, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm so glad that he was done. He was like, oh, just laid out. And he goes, I was going to be worried that I was going to have to, tell you to come back. He's not out. And I was like, if you told that, I would have went over and finished the job. So don't worry about it. And there's just like 2 different just switches that when I'm in there, it's like, it's all business, and when I'm out, I'm like kind and bubbly. But I'll have to say that one is probably my favorite.
I would say one of your most swaggerific finishes. It was when you went from the WWE suplex into the armbar.
Yeah.
Why don't you think that was your greatest one? Because I feel like that's one of your best highlights.
I think technical wise, yes. It's never been done before.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is. You said got to pick one, and I just picked one. I mean, that one was probably like something that probably would never be done again, ever. And there's people who've tried, and people try to do it to me all the time. I was like, you don't have the explosivity to throw me up and catch me, and we were just working that in the gym, working on how to force somebody to distribute their weight for you.
Right.
And in my whole training career, like I trained with, Microsoft employees, which is, if somebody does a switch and they sit out like this, you grab their chin and you pull them down and then you bring them down to the ground to pin them. And then another thing we always try to focus on is like when somebody loses their balance, the first thing they do is they catch their balance by throwing their hands out.
Correct.
And I was like, okay, he did it to me. And I was like, okay, well, teach it to me. And he was explaining to me every concept of that move. And then when I was in that fight, I was beating Ray Borg and I'm beating him. And I was like, you know what? I can't move you right now. I was like, let me see if I can shift your weight real quick. And I'm hitting him and you see him, he's sitting there like this holding and he goes, huh! And I was like, you did it. Perfect. And I was like, come on. I threw him up and I got it. And to be able to beat him all 5 rounds and then do that, it was like, yeah, people loved it. And people all around the world are like, I've been watching this sport since the 90s.
Never seen it.
I've never seen anything like that before. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It speaks to what you talked about earlier, how you feel like you found fighting. Mm-hmm. Because when I watch you in the octagon, some guys go in there just they want to punish something, right? It's brute force. I'm walking through whatever you throw at me. Mm-hmm. You're more tactical.
Yeah.
So that was like, pause. I could see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Like when you.
How is that pause?
What man is looking another man in the eyes when he's fighting the octagon?
You're looking at him in the eyes right now. Oh, when you're fighting in the octagon?
Yeah, you're fighting that. I was watching. I was paying attention. Okay.
Yeah.
Just take the pause and let's move forward. Okay. I saw it when you went to throw him, you were immediately already thinking you were 3 steps ahead.
Yep.
And that's why you're able to catch that. Most guys don't do that. I see a lot of guys get knockouts, and I'm sure you see it as well.
Yep.
And they close their eyes. They don't know what they're hitting.
Yeah.
They're just swinging.
Yep.
And I've never seen you fight that way. So I think it speaks to exactly what you were talking about.
Thanks, man. Yeah, there was one time I fought kind of like that. I was like, when they brought in the 125, because I was fighting at 135, so everybody was always taller than me. When they introduced the 125-pound division, I was like, it's about to go down. I'm about to slang and bang, baby. And I did that. I was like, what? We're just going back and forth. And the next thing you know, I'm back in the hotel room, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm just spinning like I had a long night of drinking, just spinning. I'm like, and I'm like, I talked to my coach, and he goes, you got vertigo, dude. Like, your brain is, it's rocked right now. And then one thing I always appreciate about my coach is that he was never a yes man. Like, oh, you look good. He was always like, I would win my fights. And I'm like, how was it? He goes, that looked like shit. And every time we go back to the gym, we would fight. Like, he'd be like, all right, it's time to spar. And he would just beat the shit out of me. And I was like, what did I do wrong? And then now when I do my interviews, I'm like, yep. Like a child that's going to get beat. He told me after that fight, he said, dude, what the hell was that? I was like, man, I was slanging, man. You see how good I was looking at there? He goes, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. He goes, you have the ability to move and not get hit and hit them and be fluid in transitioning between all the art forms of mixed martial arts.
Right.
Like, that's your gift. He goes, I can't do that. Brad can't do that. Nobody here can do that. That's what separates you from everybody else.
Right.
And then that day forward, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm gonna start moving and move and try to wrestle people. So that's like when you brought up that, like, the tactical approach. That's when that tactical approach came, because I tried to be like Call of Duty, run out there and just shooting and just dying over and over, kill death ratio like 5 kills and 25 deaths. But after that, I was like, okay, let's get tactical about it. Let's check our corners. Let's, pop up. Let's throw a flash grenade. Let's be mindful of what we're doing in there.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Download the app today and use promo code RG3 to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code RG3 Underdog. Make picks, win money. Disclaimer, must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, New England, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Miami, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. AZ 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369.
Hey, you also made history because you were part of the first ever major UFC trade. So why did you want out of your contract?
Like I said before, in 2018, the sport was, for mixed martial arts, for lighter division like 125, it just wasn't as popular as it is. I still go back and forth. I don't know if it's as popular today as it was back in 2018, but it just wasn't where it wanted to be. And prior to me having that fight with Henry Cejudo, there was always an argument between, not argument, but disagreement about pay when it came to me being a champion, and better opportunity, right? Better opportunity to go over to Asia, fight over there, go to a company that valued my skill set, my morals, how I carried myself. And it was the best thing I ever did in my career. Like, just for me, I feel like if you're the best in the world, you should be compensated as the best in the world.
For sure.
Besides, obviously ticket sales and all that stuff, that's got to come into play. But it's not like we're, a union, right? I'm not getting part of ticket sales. I'm not getting part of that. Yes, at the very beginning of my career, I tried to get pay-per-view points. This is an ongoing story. And, Dana White says this, I say this, but if you can't dictate what card you're going to be on or what say-so, what, you're going to line up on, then what's the point of having opportunity to get pay-per-view points? If you, like, how it works, just to give more context, is that, for example, let's say you get pay-per-view points, and how it goes is from 0 to 200,000 buys of a pay-per-view, you get $0. So if you get 175,000 buys, you still get $0. Right. And then when you do take pay-per-view points, you get a lower pay. So let's say, hey, you're going to get pay-per-view points. I'm going to give you $125,000 to show up, $75,000 to win, and then we're gonna give you pay-per-view points on the back end, and structure 0 to 200,000, 0, 200,000 to 400,000, you get $1, 400,000 to 600,000, you get $1.50, so forth and so forth and so forth. So if you fight, you know, I was always on Fox, and I did fight on a big pay-per-view. It was me and John Jones. John Jones was supposed to fight DC, but DC got hurt, so he fought OSP. I was supposed to fight, I think I fought Henry Cejudo that one. I can't remember. But I didn't have pay-per-view points. But I chose $350K up front.
Right.
And they go up every $10,000. So $350, $360, $370, $380. But there's other champions. Them motherfuckers get the belt the first. They get it. Here's $500,000. Here's pay-per-view points. I'm like, what the fuck? I've been here 8 times already, and I still ain't got paid. I'm like, it just didn't make sense to me. Didn't make sense to me. You know, and for example, like, you know, when Dustin, he fought Conor, he was like, that's all he needed to do. Because if you fight Conor, or if you get on a card with, you know, a mega card, then it's like, you in house.
Right.
Tyron Woodley did it. I remember talking to him. He was traveling in New York, and they just released that he was fighting Wonder Boy, and he told me he got 500,000 plus pay-per-view points. And then the card wasn't, you know, finalized.
Right.
And then eventually it was like Conor versus Eddie Alvarez as the main event. And I said, I was like, you rich, Playboy. I was like, you done did it.
You good.
And then he saw it, he goes, thank the gods, because he knew just the star power of that card would just drive the pay-per-view through the roof. So all in all, it was a better opportunity for me to go to one championship to make better money and be with a company that, you know, valued my morals and my skill set.
You mentioned pay. You mentioned your opportunity to go over to one. What is one thing that you would like to change about the MMA landscape today?
Free agency.
Okay.
Meaning the Muhammad Ali Act. And I could get some of this wrong, but how it's explained to me is that right now, if you are in, for example, let's say you have John Jones. He's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep.
You also have Tom Aspinall, who's a heavyweight champion of the world,
Correct.
interim champion. They are under the UFC banner. UFC gets the rights to create that fight. But if we had the Muhammad Ali Act, where a champion is his own entity, where he's like, I'm the champion of the world, me and Tom Aspinall are going to fight. Who wants to host this fight? Saudi Arabia. He was like, I want to host that fight. I want to pay you $25 million. I'm gonna pay you $25 million, and then, you know, I'll do all the rest of the stuff. John Jones and Tom Aspinall goes, $25 million sound good to me. I don't know what Dana White gonna pay you, but I'm gonna get $25 million, right? There should be like a free agency market where it's like, hey, I'm Demetrious Johnson. I'm looking to defend my belt for the 12th time. My challenger is going to be Henry Cejudo. We're going to run it back. Who wants to, you know, cater this? Who wants to own this? Because that's how it is in boxing, right? You see Gervonta Davis, you see Floyd Mayweather,
Yep.
you see all the, you know, at the time, that's why it's Mayweather Promotions.
Correct.
And then Mayweather Promotions like, hey, who's going to host me? It's going to be HBO. It's going to be Showtime. It's going to be Cinemax.
Right.
Who's it going to be? HBO, you got it. Okay, this is what I want. In mixed martial arts, we don't have that. They get to dictate. You sign a contract, they get to dictate where you fight, how much it is, all that stuff. So I would say that.
Do you think McGregor will fight again?
When I see the old Conor and how he was moving, he was like, it's just like, what happened there?
So beautiful.
What happened, right? But, you know.
But you talk about Conor, and it's really like getting that fire back.
Yeah.
But I also look at Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
I look at Volk. I look at Kamaru Usman, Henry Cejudo. And for some reason in the sport, it's almost like the guys are rising.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
Boom,
they fall off a cliff. And it's two things. Why do you think that's happening? And do you think guys like that can get it back on track?
So I think there's two things to that. I think you can agree with me on this, is that as an athlete, as we age, we don't recover. We're not as fast. We don't see things. And you're seeing these guys on, not a decline, but they're starting to lose. And I just think mixed martial arts is a young man's game. Right. It just is. Just like football is a young man's game. Yeah. And I think for these athletes, you know, it's something that we don't know when to call it quit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I did. I was like, I'm out. I'm done. And can I still fight? Do I still move good? Absolutely. And I think that's the most important part, is that I can still do the sport, and I left it, just like George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
There's so many good athletes who've left it.
Yeah.
Habib.
Yeah.
I'm older than him. I just saw him. I was like, oh, you're about 39. He goes, no, brother. No. I'm 33. I was like, why the you so young? He goes, for him, he thought it was time for him to leave. And
Right. But why hasn't it happened to? Why didn't it happen to you?
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen to John Jones?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's because, I can't speak for John Jones. And I can't speak. I think John Jones is just one of a kind athlete for like what he's been able to accomplish. I always think John Jones is probably pound for pound best fighter in the world. Like when I watch him fight, I always see the things that he can do. And I'm like, oh, he can beat this guy if he wanted to. Right. His structure, he's intelligent. And I think he also has an aura around him where people don't really take it to him. That's what I would say about him. But for me, I've always lived the same lifestyle from the day I started mixed martial arts to the day I left it. And that's like, I never forget when I got my first call to go fight for the big leagues. He was like, hey, can you come fight? Can you come to Vegas to fight? And I was like, I got to see if I get time off from work. I got to go check with my boss. Check with my boss. He says yes. And throughout all my career, I would my fight, go home, take care of the kids, pressure wash the fence, go fight, go back home, take care of the kids. So I've always had that lifestyle. And I've taken time off of my training camps when I wasn't going to be for a fight. And then when I get back in training camp, my coach was always forcing me to evolve into something different. And that's what kept me on top for the longest. And genetically, I was able to stay healthy.
How did losing your sister really impact you as a fighter and just even outside the cage?
There's two parts. I felt like you can die peacefully or you can die tragically, right? And I think seeing that and then coming home and, I was always in training camp. Always. Wife's pregnant. She gives birth to our first. All right, babe, I love you. Good job. Dab it up. I go up the street and I fight. Right. Then she gives birth to Maverick. I leave again. I go fight. Then I fight Henry Cejudo. She's pregnant. I lose that fight. I go to the hospital. She gives birth to her. I'm like, I'm always training. Then my sister, I never forget coming home from training one night, and I get a call from my mom. She never really calls me. We have a unique relationship or a different relationship. She calls me and goes, hey, Meaty, you need to come to the hospital. Lenny ain't going to make it. I'm like, what the is going on? Like, granted, she's going through alcoholism and all that stuff. Show up. She's on the bed, and she ends up dying that night. And I come home and called my coach. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to make training today. He goes, well, what's up? I was like, I go bury my sister. She died last night. He goes, oh, He goes, I'm sorry. And I sat down. I'm like, man, I'm always in training. I'm always fucking training. Right. And then I was always perfectly trained, did everything, was so disciplined. And then me and her, we went out to eat. And then we came home. And I was like, I'm tired of being perfect. Like, we're all going to die eventually, so I might as well just enjoy my life and not put so much pressure and stress on myself when I go to compete. And so then that's when I, found THC. And then next thing you know, we're about to go to, there was a concert with my favorite band. And I was like, man, I really want to go to that band, but I don't want to, I'm in training camp. And it was like a week before I was going out to Singapore to fight. Went out there, had a beer, had a fried chicken sandwich. I was like, if this motherfucker knocked me out again because of this sandwich, he deserved to knock out. And I ate it and had a beer, and then it just opened my life and just kind of just opened my mind essentially.
That's awesome.
Your wife who's here today with you, what role has she played in your success? Because it sounds like when you were fighting, training, she was holding down the fort at home, raising the kids, all of that. So
10 toes.
I guess it's kind of how much has her support meant to you?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Like, been together since my second amateur fight and helping me realize certain things in life and how to, words can't describe what she's been to me, right? And even now, helping me navigate this new part of my career and navigating even retiring, making the best decision, not just for me, but for us and our children and raising my kids. And yeah, she's been a huge, huge rock in my life, not just in my career, but just in life in general. I lost my sister and just seeing how a family is supposed to be, right? Because come from my family, it was me, my brother, my sister, my mom, no dads, essentially. And, how Christmas is, how Thanksgiving is, just mind blowing of no, this is what we do for Christmas. We all get together, So I'm like, really? Well, I never did this. We just sit there and play video games all day. It's just 9 days different, and I love her for it. And even now in this navigation, we're on this trip, and I hated traveling. I hated it. I was like, what do I got to go here for? He goes, well, you got to go do this and do this. This is like the UFC. And I'm like, oh, boring. All right, I'll go do it. I'll land. I'll be in the hotel room just playing video games the whole entire time. My wife's like, have you seen anything? I was like, nope, don't care to. Just want to get back home. And then now I love travel. I love embracing the culture. Like when we go to Thailand, Japan, when we came to here, we walked, I think, 7 miles yesterday, embracing the culture of what Louisiana could bring to you. And she's opened my eyes to that. And also teaching me doesn't hurt to try. If you try and you fail, okay, what? So you failed, right? Yeah. And she's trying to help me with my my swag, trying to get all oh man, it's so fucking stressful trying to find the right thing to wear. I'm like, what do you think about this? And she goes, it's good. And I'm like, nah, it's too much. She goes, you can wear that, baby. I'm like, I don't know. She goes, and now what's this new thing in? It's the hunting print. Like people, what's that hunt?
Camo?
Camo.
You mean the camo?
The camo. She's like, it's in right now, babe. I'm like, he's about to go hunting. That's why he's wearing it. She goes, no, it's in. I'm like, this fashion. So I love her to death. She's been my rock, and now it's, this whole trip I've been fact checking her. Right. She goes, I don't know why you be, she goes, I said that's what it is, and I was like, I gotta fact check you. I can't let you think you know everything, baby. And she goes, okay, when you gonna fucking learn? I'm like, but she's my best friend.
She does know everything.
Yeah, I know.
It's great to hear you talk about your wife like that, because I feel like in today's age, it's become uncool to express how you feel about the woman that's really helped you through everything and been by your side, and that you're building that empire with. I know you mentioned about your upbringing and having no fathers. How did that impact you as a father, and especially as a black father, being there for your kids?
Yeah, that's huge right there. Growing up, it was very weird because I never saw my mom love another man, right? So many different, not many different men, but I've seen her, like, she was always with the military man, and I've seen her be abused by men, and it was something that was just never around. So for me to find father figures, I would always, attach myself to my friends' fathers, essentially. Like one of my best friends, Jordan Schaller, his dad, Daniel Schaller, he was an amazing husband. I thought he was not the fucking word of him, another black man as well. And he would wash dishes every night. And that's one thing I took from him. He was like, I was like, he'd be washing dishes after we eat dinner. He goes, if a woman's going to spend all day cleaning and cooking over the stove, the least you can do is get your lazy ass up. I might be putting y'all in my doghouse. I might want to learn something here, right? But he was like, the least thing you do, he goes, the least thing you do is get up and wash these motherfucking dishes, right? So, and then I grew up watching my mom wash dishes because she never had a husband. So now I, for 18 years, me and my wife and the girl, I always wash dishes. I refuse the dishwasher. Like, I hate that.
I hate the dishwasher as well.
But now, me and him, we good. He ain't leaking anymore, right? So that's one thing I took from him. And, like, I never forget, we were going to school one day, and she went fishing in the morning. So she took the boat out, she went fishing, and she came home with a cooler full of fish. And this man was out there gutting that fish for her, and while she went to bed and slept. So I saw how I kind of got a vision how to treat a woman, essentially. Now having, being married and having my own kids, it was almost kind of like, how do I navigate this, right? Because, I saw what, Daniel did. How do I navigate this with my children? There was no instructions to raising these little bastards, right? Each one of them are totally different, right? You have your favorites. It always circles.
No one admits it, but yes, there.
Yeah, there is. I tell them all the time. I'm like, right now, you don't even like this one. But my wife's like, we can't do that because they're all growing. And especially for me being a black father, it's like, it's very stereotypical for where I come from, where usually a black man, he's just going around just laying the pipe everywhere and just having kids all over the place.
It's something that we have to fight against.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think for me to, like, I feel proud to be that person in the forefront, like saying like, nah, like I'm married, I take care of my kids, I get them to school. There is no infidelity. There isn't me running around like this is. I always tell my wife, and I tell everybody this. I was like, I'm sure there's another handsome, black gentleman out there who's probably 6'2", that my wife might find he looked handsome.
What?
Right? I'm just saying, like it's.
She's like, no.
For example, or like. For me, but there's never going to be another woman out there that can replace my wife because she's giving me 3 children, right? Like what we built, like no other woman. I don't care how fucking hot you are, or whatever it is. There's nothing you can do that's ever going to trump what my wife has done for me and what we built together, right? And so.
And it's a good thing your wife's hot, so.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah. So for me.
Nice job, baby.
So for me, it's like I'm.
That would be weird.
I was just gonna sit here and be like,